Welcome here on the Lindenwood Sports Network. My name is Dominic Hoscher, and today's guest is the Lindenwood baseball head coach, Doug Bletcher. And Coach, thank you for joining the show. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm doing well. Thank you.
All right, a couple weeks into the season now, 5-1 record all ready for you guys. But in your 13th season, what's the overall feeling that you have going into your 13th year as head coach with the Lions?
Well, really excited about our pitching staff going into the season, and everything has gone according to plan in terms of execution and that type of thing. Finding our identity was a main concern going into the season, and thus far, we've done very, very well in staying with, I think, what our strengths are. So I'm really pleased where we're at right now.
Well, one of those strengths is your pitching, as you mentioned. In that Ohio Dominican series, your first home series, because last week they were canceled due to bad weather, but back at home against Ohio Dominican, not just a sweep of Ohio Dominican, but you swept them with shutouts too. So what about your pitching staff made them so dominant in the season opening series at home?
Well, last weekend was historic. I don't think we've ever had 3 shutouts in a row for the entire series, 4 shutouts in a row, considering and counting Florida Tech. So I'm not sure we'll ever experience anything like that again. It definitely exceeded all expectations. But again, out of the pen too, it wasn't just the starters, but we really had some good execution out of the pen by the pitchers. So it's a deep staff.
What does that do for the rest of your team, for the starters to come in and dominate, for the bullpen to come in and dominate? How does that energize the lineup and everyone else on the team when they perform like that?
You just control what you can control, not worry about everything else. It's seemingly being taken care of. And one of the key things in dealing with young athletes is just to have them focus in on what they can control, not worry about all the other stuff. So confidence, without question, to do their thing, stay within their game.
So 2 of the starters are seniors in Kyle Hennis and Blake Beckman. In their final year, what are your expectations for them as some of the senior leaders on the team?
Not so much expectations, just trying to get them to maximize their abilities to a point where we leave nothing on the table. Both Beckman and Hennis are 4-year players. They've been in the program. They've had a lot of expectations on them for 4 years now. Both Hennis and Beckman helped lead us to the 2017 National Tournament and have a lot of experience under their belt. So naturally, we're going to just get on their wagon and follow those guys.
How do you hope they turn that experience into leadership qualities and helping some of the younger players? Because you have quite a few younger players on this team as well. How do you hope they take those leadership roles this season?
Well, they've been through it. And as I said before, it's just the confidence that the players have in following those guys that have been there, done that. So they may not be the most vocal leaders, but certainly by their actions, they're doing a fantastic job.
Now, I don't want to exclude Jacob Thompson, the redshirt freshman, as well in the rotation. So talk about him as well. What made him so great in the first series of the
He's a dude. And it isn't just Jacob Thompson. It's Brody Roach, Eric Hipp, Nate Hillerman, Justin Taylor, and the list does go on. And when I start identifying just 1 or 2 players, I get a little apprehensive because it is a really good, deep pitching staff. And the challenge is going to be get all our guys the work necessary to overcome any obstacle hurdles that we have coming our way. And that's my job as a head coach, really, to keep our guys focused in on what they don't see currently in front of them.
All right, offensively now, another good series for you guys. You scored 17 runs as a team against Ohio Dominican in your home openers. So what about your offense now made them so strong at the plate?
We're headed in the right direction. That's the main thing. Working the process. But we're not where we want to be in the end, but I think the players, again, the confidence in that we know what we're attempting to do, we know our identity, and we're fulfilling that at the current moment. So we're working the process, and really it is a work in progress. And we've got to just stay the course, and if we do get those tough battles, the expectations we're going to continue to get those tough battles against premier pitching, because our goals are very lofty at the end of the year. Therefore, that type of competition at the end of the year should be guiding us throughout the course of the year. It's not so much how many runs we score right now as working the process and getting towards where we need to go to.
You talked about it being a work in progress. In baseball, more than most sports, it might take some time to gel into a season, get used to the pitching, get used back into play after a long off season. So in terms of what you've seen, how long does it usually take for a player to really just start getting comfortable at the plate? How many series in, how many weeks in?
Great question. I've never had that before, and for the sport of baseball, even to administrators and saying, yes, we need to play 50 regular season games. Why do you play so many games? Because we need to. The timing is so wicked, so tough as for offense. It really takes 35, 40 games to really get going. So successful pitchers early in the year, you can't put too much into it. The hitters generally take a lot longer to catch on up, as you're alluding to. So we need every single game, every single opportunity, every single practice to be efficient and quality, to test our timing, to make sure we can get in sync with the pitchers. It's a never-ending battle. It is not like riding a bike. Once you do it, you're fine. It is a constant, every single day, every single at-bat type of endeavor. So we've got to just stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. We're inter-squadding today. We're going to inter-squad tomorrow. We're going to do a 7, 8, 9, the last 3 innings of the game on Thursday, and prepare for this weekend's Northwood series because we need more reps.
So that's at home as well. And so that's for the players. How does that relate to you as well in terms of how long does it take for you to really find that one lineup that you want to stick to in the biggest games of the season, as well as that rotation order that you also want to have?
You can't be afraid to tinker with the team. Sometimes people will second guess us and think that, hey, you're winning, why are you tinkering with the lineup? So again, another great question. I don't have the answer. You just keep working and trying to look for every scenario possible that could come our way and address it now before it happens. Again, we've got to paint the very vivid, clear picture for our players on where it is that we're going. And so just keep plugging away, keep plugging away, keep plugging away with different lineups when you can, without trying to get in the way of the team's success that they have. I want that momentum, but I, again, have to test out different things, different lineups. Otherwise, we won't know, because even a lineup that's successful one day doesn't mean it's going to be successful the next day. So we got to repeat. These guys have different combos. It's the best 9 versus the 9 best.
Okay. So last year you guys lost a couple key seniors, multiple key seniors, 2 of them in the lineup, including Neil Fisher and DJ Miller. So going into this year, how do you hope to replace those holes that they're going to leave and going forward, because they were pretty successful offensive players for you guys?
Both had great 2-year careers, so we really don't replace them, but we do change our identity. They may be more power-oriented, certainly with Neil Fisher's doubles records that he had for a 2-year player. That's not going to be matched. We're simply not that type of team this year. But there's different ways to skin a cat. There's different ways to score runs. And we're more of a get on, get them over, get them in type of team. Our on-base percentage is going to be far more important than the doubles, the home runs, our batting average.
One of the players that hasn't had too much trouble getting on base so far this year is MitchellKrebs. I know you don't like to focus on individual players, but he's off to an excellent start in his first 6 games. What have you liked from one of your senior leaders so far through the first opening series?
Yeah, he's got a great stroke. He's a great on-base percentage guy. If anybody's going to be a hitting coach on the ball club in the future, it's going to be MitchellKrebs. And it's always been that way since the moment I saw him play at Swick, junior college. So he had the stroke. There's really, with a hitter like that, it's important for myself, the assistant coaches, everybody to get out of his way and let him do his thing. He's an athlete, and he understands the art of hitting and the art of getting on base, or just being an offensive threat. He also counsels and helps out other players on the ball club, so he is really invaluable. When you talk about leadership, again, another one of those quiet leaders that really helps the rest of the ball club, the rest of the fans and maybe parents don't see just how quality he is in those areas, kind of the unseen, behind the scenes.
So this is your first year, as well as Lindenwood, in the GLBC. I know that games haven't started in the GLBC yet, but looking down the road, from what you've seen from the GLBC, from what you've heard about the conference, what are your expectations for moving into this conference rather than playing the MIAA like you guys did the past couple of years?
The top half of the GLBC, 8 teams to 1, I don't really see a lot of difference between the MIAA and the GLBC. Perhaps there's a couple more teams that are struggling at the bottom than the MIAA, but when it's all said and done, 8 teams make the playoffs out of 15 or 16 this year, with Beckman's last year in the conference, so the 16th team. We have to be in the top 8. And we have to sit there and whatever comes our way, we embrace it. If it's great competition that we get from one of the GLBC teams, that's an advantage. I need to see that competition day in and day out. That is an attribute that the MIAA had. You didn't have to worry about national competition. What is it like to your players? Just play the MIAA conference schedule and you will see what it's like. And I do believe that GLBC, certainly 8 teams, maybe a little bit more, are in that same mode as the MIAA. It's a good conference. 2 national championships, I think, in the 7 or last 8 years, Southern Indiana, but some really good ball clubs, Quincy, Drury, have certainly carried their weight nationally.
One of the nice things about the GLBC is less travel than the MIAA, a lot shorter distances. You guys play at UMSL, played at Missouri S&T, those not too far away. So how does that affect your guys' team? Does it help you guys? It should, but does it?
It really goes both ways. Sometimes you want a 17-and-a-half-hour bus ride. You want your players to be tested. Again, what happens when we're in playoffs and it's week after week, we're all beat up, we're all sore, and we still have to play the game. We still have a doubleheader to play. We still have 5 games in 3 days type of scenario, if not 6, when we get to the conference playoffs. So being tested, being on the road does have its advantages in terms of testing our players. It's an opportunity, really, and we need to embrace those situations now. So the flip side of it, it is nice to be just keep our guys in class a little longer and not have that academic stress that when we do go on the road for those long trips, that we have the challenge now. We've got to play catch up. I want them focusing in when we're on the field on baseball. And being in a more local league like we are probably is going to have its benefits socially and academically that is immeasurable.
Now I want to focus on you individually. As a head coach, you're in your 22nd year as a head coach overall, 13th year with Lindenwood, and in those years you've had plenty of success. And their winning percentage is 6th among all active coaches right now. So from the dugout, what has worked for you so well over these 22 years, and between Lindenwood and Culver Stockton and everywhere else, what has really worked for you?
Another good question, a tough question. I think that not being afraid to look at what's happening out on the field and try to put our players in the context of what our ultimate goals are. To me, it's the final game of the year. Will we play our best game the last game of the year? And that's something that Jimmy Johnson in football that I really looked up to when he was still coaching Dallas Cowboys and Miami Dolphins, that type of thing. But he would always tell his guys, we're going to play our best game the last game of the year. I took that analogy and I applied it to baseball for a lot of years now. The last game dictates everything that we do during a given season, even really fall ball. And so we have to play that last game, understand what it is to be in that type of game, in that national limelight with all the pressures and all the things that are on the table, and to be able to play that over and over and over again. And that, to me, is what drives me every day in the dugout, is I'm looking long range and trying to crystallize that situation for my players as well as myself, and just saying, how do we fit against that competition, even though we may be playing against that competition right here and now in the moment. We do have to stay in the moment, but under the umbrella of the championship game.
Coach, thank you for the time.
Thank you.
That was head coach Doug Bletcher of Lindenwood Baseball. We're going to take a quick break and be back with you right here on the Lindenwood Sports Network.
First time I tried Vicodin, it was laying around my mom's house. And then I kept taking them whenever I could get them. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
And we're back here on the Lindenwood Sports Network. This is Dominic Hoscher, joined by two Lindenwood Baseball senior starting pitchers in Blake Beckman as well as Kyle Hennis. Guys, thank you for joining. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Thanks for asking. All right, so you guys are 3 weeks into your season. You had games canceled 2 weekends ago, and last weekend you played against Ohio Dominican. Both of you tossed shutouts as well as the bullpen, and then the rest of the rotation with Jacob Thompson as well. So, Blake, I'm going to start with you. What led to success on the mound for you guys as a team and you individually?
As a team, I would say we have such a deep rotation that it's pretty easy to, like, as a starting pitcher, I mean, if we can just make it through 6, we know we'd be confident with our pen and stuff to make it throughout the rest of the game. So.
And Kyle, you're off to a strong start this season too. What's worked well for you when you're on the mound?
A lot of good fastball command this year. Worked a lot in the off season on my breaking ball too, getting that over first strike. So that's been helping a lot.
So the third person in rotation, Jacob Thompson. He's a freshman in his first year with you guys as seniors. Blake, how have you tried to take a leadership role in helping him grow and helping him in his first year as a team?
So he was actually a redshirt freshman since he was hurt, and he actually had some elbow issues and a PRP injection, and I've went through the same thing. So I've kind of helped him with just being confident and making sure, like, knowing that he'll be all right throughout the whole process and stuff. So, and also if he ever needs help and stuff, I always help him with that stuff. So.
And Kyle, so as a starting pitcher yourself, what has led to you as a leader when it comes to the rest of the team as a senior on the team and helping not just Jacob but other people as well that are maybe sophomores or freshmen and others?
Just trying to set the tone, set the expectations of what we want out of our team. Guys are doing a good job of buying into what we're trying to get across. So when you have everybody working together for that same common goal, it leads to a lot of success. So.
And you guys are all returning. You had a lot of returning pitchers too. In terms of the lineup, lost a couple of key components. But how helpful is it for you guys as a team to have all these starting pitchers come back between yourselves and then Brody out of the bullpen as well as others?
Especially with Thompson coming back too, like, and knowing that we're experienced, and especially Brody as a freshman last year and him doing so successful, that it's definitely a huge factor in how this season will probably turn out, knowing that we're definitely deep as well. So.
And seeing these younger players like Brody as a freshman last year, sophomore this year, and then Thompson as a freshman, redshirt freshman, seeing them already produce at a high level and get into the rotation or get good innings coming out of the bullpen, how good of a sign is that for your guys as a program and going forward, not just this season, but beyond even guys after you guys graduate?
It's awesome to see. You know, I mean, we've both been here for 4 years, so we've got to see how things have progressed over the years, and that's just due in part to the coaches going out and recruiting the right guys that follow the expectations, like I said earlier, that we set, kind of fit in well with the group. So.
And after these 4 years, like, knowing that we kind of know, like, how our team will be throughout the year, and knowing that we have such a deep position players and pitchers, that it's definitely huge. So.
You mentioned the 4 years. I mean, it's your last year, your senior year.
Yeah,
are you sad, or are you just excited to get it going, or what do you think?
I'd say it's bittersweet.
Yeah.
It's fun being a top
agree.
dog, but at
Yeah.
the same time, a little bittersweet.
Yeah,
So.
definitely.
So what kind of perks do you guys get as seniors? I mean, as freshmen, you usually, I don't know about you guys, but if you had to, like, do all the chores or whatever that freshmen usually do, and now as seniors, what perks do you guys get?
Not on bucket during BP.
Oh yeah,
That's
not
the
a
good
bucket.
one.
Oh, we don't have to go up in the stands anymore either.
Yeah.
For charting and stuff for pitching, but front of the bus is always nice too.
Yeah, front of the
Don't
bus
sit
is
in the
a
back.
big one.
But it's pretty. We do the laundry as well as the rest of the team, so there's not many perks, I guess, being a senior.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
All right, so you guys have moved into the GLBC now. You guys pitched in the MIAA before. I know you haven't played any GLBC opponents yet, but I talked to Doug Bletcher about this, your head coach, and now for you guys, what's your overall expectation for this new conference with shorter traveling distances and other things?
I think the travel is going to be a big part. Not going to have to sit on the bus rides as far anymore, so we'll be fresher for the games. Sure. What do you think?
I think it's going to be nice, especially, I mean, I've got a couple friends on different teams in the GLBC, and it's going to be nice playing against those guys finally after 4 years again, so that would also be nice.
So when you play against friends that you maybe know from the high school days or beyond or before you got to college, is there a little bit extra incentives just to beat that team over the others, or is it just another team?
Oh, I mean, it's strictly business, I guess, and you're not going to take it lightly, especially if it's a hitter for me. I'm going to try to strike them out regardless of the situation.
So back to the traveling and everything. So when we talked to Bletcher, he kind of brought up the negatives in terms of not having these longer distances before, as you guys had longer bus rides, and part of that is potentially with team culture and team chemistry as well with these long bus rides to who knows where in the middle of Kansas or somewhere else.
Yeah.
When you're on those long rides there with your team, could you see a little bit of negative in that too in terms of not having those long experiences anymore, or does it not really make a difference?
I would say we definitely make it up throughout the week, like going to practice and weights and stuff like that and hanging out with each other and even going to study at night at the Lark or something like that. We make it up some way, so.
What are some of the things you guys do, Kyle? Behind the scenes, everyone can see what you guys do on the field, but behind the scenes, is there like a lot of MLB The Show competitions or other things? What do you guys do?
I know a couple of the guys play the show.
Yeah.
I'm the best at it, though.
You're the best?
I just got to let that be known.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my game.
Yeah.
So
There's other video games too, like, Fortnite and other stuff like that. But we also play, pitchers like to play hacky sack, if you're familiar with that.
I am.
Before the game, so.
So who's the best at that?
Austin Buick, probably.
Yeah,
he's also a senior. I mean, I'm pretty good myself, but.
Yeah, I'm not as good as you guys.
I don't like to say a different kid on the team, Michael Cessna. We kind of try to get him out because he's good.
Yeah, he's always the first target,
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
But you mentioned, are you the Fortnite guy then?
No.
You're not?
Okay. No. I don't play Fortnite.
All right, that's good for you then. All right, so as pitchers, when you talk about the major league level or other levels, I mean, you don't get too many plate appearances, but when you get that one chance in the box, do you guys enjoy it, or what's your usual strat whenever the rare occurrence comes when you're...
Oh, if we got a hit?
Yeah.
I did mention to Coach Fletcher that I would like to get an AB after 4 years. A couple of the pitchers actually have gotten ABs, like Eric Hipp and Brody. Eric's actually gotten 2 hits. It was like 3 RBIs last year in conference. Well, 2 RBIs in the conference tournament. Yeah, and that was pretty exciting. Not gonna lie, but the situation came up. I mean, I've hit before, and hopefully I'd be able to get the job done. So.
I mean, have you talked to Coach about it? Is he?
I mean, I have. He said if we made conference that he'd give me a chance, but when you're in conference, you're probably not gonna put me out there. So it's hard to say.
Oh, that's why you said it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you said it. Yeah.
All right, so Kyle, in your final year, looking beyond, what do you hope to gain from your senior season as terms of a person? So not just from your experience as a player, but in terms of an individual and going forward into, I'm not going to call it the real world, but after college days, what do you hope to gain from your final season?
That's a good question.
It's tough.
I guess I kind of want the guys that are still here to, hopefully they thought I left a good impression and led them well. That's the big one. Being in the leadership roles helped a lot too, just preparing myself for the future, like you said. So hopefully I've done a good job up to this point.
Especially if you're major, yeah. Should be good for you.
What about you, Bud?
I would say like leadership skills and communication, especially with like teachers and coaches and stuff like that. That's definitely going to play a role in the future, and I think it's important. So.
All right, and so for those that don't know, you play with your twin brother and Bryce, and you said it like it's not a good thing almost.
Love hate, I
that
guess. Love hate.
experience?
It's definitely nice having him in the outfield. I mean, last year we had a little fiasco in left when he made a couple errors, but this year, I mean, he hasn't made any errors, and especially the rest of the team too. Like we started out with a bunch of errors, and I don't think we've had more than 3 this whole year so far, and I think that it's definitely helped us be successful on the mound too, knowing that we're going to have a confidence in our position players being able to make the plays that we need them to make. So, but other than that, Bryce, it's definitely nice having Bryce on the team, and especially with my parents and stuff, they can come to our games and not going to 2 different ones and stuff like that, so it's definitely helpful for them. So.
All right, with the good defense behind you, as any pitcher, it must be a relief, and you guys are off to a good start, as you mentioned, Blake, in terms of having good defense. And earlier in the season, usually is a difficulty for teams. I mean, we talked to Bletcher about it, too. It just kind of takes time to gel with your team and with your players and on the field as well. Has that not been a problem for you guys? Are you just right back in the swing of things already?
I don't think it's been a problem at all. When we were on the team our freshman year, when we made our run to the World Series, we were really a close-knit group, and this is the closest thing to that I've felt since that year. We all get along really well.
I think we might be a little closer too, honestly.
Yeah,
so.
go to battle for each other every day, so that's a huge part of it.
How does that mindset help you guys? I mean, knowing that it's not just you two with that mindset, but also the rest of the pitchers and even the players in the lineup too. How does it kind of help you all as a team to have all this similar mindset and similar goals for your season?
I'd say just being able to pick people up, especially when they're struggling, is definitely huge. I mean, especially for a pitcher. I mean, I had a rough first weekend, but I had my team behind me that helped me pick it up, and we ended up getting the win out of that day. And knowing that's definitely huge to be successful throughout baseball, for sure.
So as a pitcher, and if you watch the game, when there's a pitcher that delivers a less than expected outing, they're always showing the shots of them in the bench and just with their head down and kind of alone. So after an outing that might have not gone as you guys have planned, what's your kind of mindset in terms of just forgetting about that and going forward? Is it easy to forget about it, or is it kind of be in the back of your head as a motivation going forward too?
I'd like to say I have a pretty short memory. I didn't freshman year. Freshman year, I held on to some starts a little bit too long, but that's all part of growing. So I can flush a bad start pretty well. I usually take about 10 minutes or so after I come out.
Exactly.
Go cool off a little bit, and then I'm back on the bench supporting the team. So
I would say the exact same. Just being able to let it go is definitely going to make you more successful, and making sure you don't, like if you give a home run, you shouldn't be down in the dumps. It's kind of tough to be like that, but that's how all good pitchers are. You see it throughout all levels of baseball. So.
All right, now I want to ask you both, starting with Blake, your individual goals, not just thinking about the team, but individual goal for the season heading into your final year at Lindenwood.
I mean, I want to break the win record for sure. I'm a few away. We both are. So that'd be a nice little head-to-head competition there. But we're like 5 and 6, right?
I believe so, yeah.
So that's gonna be fun. He already broke the strikeout record. Okay, I won't beat that. But yeah, that's definitely a goal, and I would just say just getting as many wins under the belt as possible. So.
Okay. Kyle, do you have any more records that you want to break? Apparently.
No, I
don't really know the other.
We have the World Series is played in Cary, North Carolina, and we have in our locker room, one of the first things you see is the stadium that it's actually played at. So first thing as we walk in, that's what we see. That's kind of like a good representation of our idea as a team. That's our goal, is to end the year there, hopefully with a championship. So
yeah, maybe we'll actually be able to go there, not Grand Prairie, Texas, like freshman year. So
Grand Prairie, Texas.
It got changed because of.
Yeah, I don't remember what the deal was.
I mean, yeah, I know what it is, but it's whatever. It's not really worth it to. But yeah, it'd be nice to play at Cary, North Carolina. It looks pretty amazing there. So yeah, it's definitely a goal for both of us. And I would assume for the rest of our team, I think having the same goals is definitely going to play a big part. So
thank you, guys. That was Blake Beckman and Kyle Hennis of the Lindenwood baseball team right here on the Lindenwood Sports Network. Dominic Hoscher signing out right here on the Lindenwood Sports Network.